welcome to the NBA Daily for Monday, February 16th. I'm Zena, joined by Dave DuFour and Baraheni. We're closing out NBA All-Star Weekend. They did some things to chop it up, switch it up. We're going to break it all down. Dave is on site. Let's get right to it. Dave, S, what's up, guys?
What up?
What's up? S dancing to the music I've got in the background, hoping that this music doesn't get us booted off of the internet.
No,
it'll be fine. It'll be a fine.
I'm just very musically inclined. I can hear the rhythm. It's all. I
love it. I love it. That's the Toronto in you.
There was a guy, S, we could have used you out here. I don't know anyone's names. One of the hosts of the weekend. Hey, they did a great job, like the arena host. There's so much stuff happening.
Nice.
But man, one of them. Guy had no rhythm from the hips down. It just do kids not dance with their legs anymore? Like, what is happening?
No, there's several dances that are popularized that include leg usage.
It's just it probably didn't come with TikTok instructions. That's what it was.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, Dave, I'm actually happy that you brought that up. Overall vibes of NBA All-Star Weekend. We got to get into it because going into this weekend, it just felt like everyone was ragging on how bad the vibes were going into this weekend. No one's getting excited for the games. Everyone's expecting the competition to be down, etc. What were the overall vibes out in your city in LA?
You know, I think that it starts with this. The All-Star game is never what people try to pretend like it used to be. It's always sort of been like it is.
Yeah.
And this new format, we'll get to that in a second. But like the vibe around the All-Star is it is a fan event, very much geared toward bring your kids, you know. I mean, it's there's stuff outside. There's there's little mini hoops around the arena. There's a lot of stuff happening. The quality of the event itself, I just think the drop off in quality that we feel is more about just we've got more options. Netflix wasn't around in 1985. The NBA All-Star Game had all the stars. Now, like League Pass, it's not a big deal. I see, every team every single night if I want. And I just think that a lot of this is about our expectations. Now,
you're cooking right now, Dave.
Right?
Yes,
now, the quality of the stuff that we saw here, I think it was on par with just about everything. But again, expectations. Why does the dunk contest not feel as special as it used to? Because we've seen all the dunks. The stars don't even come and do them anymore. So, to me, everything is about what do you expect out of the weekend? And so I look at this, it was a pretty big success. I mean, I think there's some good stories coming out of it, the Damian Lillard stuff, which we'll talk about. Yeah. I thought that the new format worked well. Overall, the vibe was good, but it's LA. You ask people around, they didn't even know what was happening. Like, there's stuff happening all the time.
Well, you know what
the part that's interesting.
I was going to say, from a television perspective, the timing of it threw me off.
Okay,
even on
and I've got a theory on this. People have been
5 p.m.
kicking
Eastern,
around.
2 p.m. Pacific is that's a switch up.
Yeah.
People have been kicking around this idea that it's because of the Olympics. The Olympics are coming tape delay after this. They're not going to be live. This is for Europe, guys. This is, we are trying to start an NBA league with stars potentially in Europe. Let's show you what it looks like. Now, I personally would not have chosen All-Star Weekend to highlight that, but I do believe that a 2 p.m. Pacific start has just, hey, we want some European fans to be able to stay awake and watch this stuff. I mean, the world versus U.S. format, it definitely is playing into that. The entire thing was they wanted to create a social media event just as much as an event on the court because, it's an attention business. So I think that the start, it is a little bit like disjointing, especially for us. It's All-Star Saturday night, and it was in the afternoon.
Yeah, All-Star Saturday evening.
Yeah,
or afternoon.
Or early afternoon. I mean, it was something that I had a friend that lives in Spain texting me saying, I'm watching, like I was at the dunk contest. I posted something on my story, and they were up watching it. I think that's exactly what Adam Silver wants in being able to globalize the game. So from that perspective, it's awesome. Let's go ahead and talk about the positives, particularly coming out of Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. The switch up was good. Overall, the competition was there. Now, there were 4 quarters being played. The first 3, cutthroat. And we can thank Victor Wembanyama for setting the table. Now, Dave just laid out. It all is about what you expected going into this weekend. What did you expect out of this format? And then what did you actually see?
You know what? So they changed the format for the Rising Stars a couple of years ago, and they saw an increase in competition. They saw guys going back and forth a little bit more. I think the fact that it's one single quarter and guys have to compete for 12 minutes straight adds a level of intensity. It's basically like you get 4 separate fourth quarters, which, by the way, if it's close enough, most All-Star games in the past in the fourth quarter have been awesome, competitive. So how do you replicate that aspect consistently? It's dividing them into 3 different teams.
Yeah.
And so,
and then doing it without the target
awesome.
score, also doing it without the target score gave us some moments. Shout out to Mo Dakhil, who has always been against the Elam ending. And it gave us moments. We got that De'Aaron Fox buzzer beater. We got a game that went into OT, I didn't even know that they had overtime rules.
I didn't either.
Because
I was confused.
This, you mentioned the first 3 games being super competitive, and Victor Wembanyama. I believe fully that Victor Wembanyama kind of annoyed these guys. And basically was like,
they were like, you are switching up our exactly.
Yes.
Our floor was here. We're all on the same page. We're about to be right here. And he raised it. He raised it.
Wemby, in an era where everyone likes to pretend like they are nonchalant, right?
He's earnest.
Wemby is earnest. He cares. He actually gives a damn.
Did y'all see him taking? Did y'all see him taking a pause before his free throws in the All-Star game? The same level of focus that you see him when he's tied up in a Spurs jersey. He was so locked in. Okay, let's keep talking about.
He was very serious. Yeah.
Let's talk about this because it did drop off.
Yeah.
Sure.
And where we saw that drop off was when you realized that the Stripes team was about to play 3 quarters in a row.
Yeah.
And these were the OGs. And it was cool for a second because you saw the future of Team USA beating up on the legends of Team USA. But then it got a little bit ugly and it got a little boring.
So, again, the fatigue was definitely a factor there at the end. But I do want to just point out the World versus US format was a big motivator here. And I fully believe that the old heads wanted to beat the world team specifically. And once that was done, I just think that they were out of gas. Kawhi Leonard, by the way, just an aside, is the best American basketball player in the world right now. It's him or Anthony Edwards. I don't know. But no one is playing like Kawhi has been the last couple of months. And we saw, what did he put up in that quarter?
31.
I don't have a box score with me.
31 points in that quarter. And
it felt like 50.
Yeah, right. And it was interesting because all I could think about is, remember, Kawhi didn't play in the Olympics. And it was kind of like, maybe there's a point to prove. Maybe there's a just don't forget about me moment that we had. And we thought up until that quarter, through that quarter, that he probably was going to get MVP. Ends up being Anthony Edwards. What'd you love about Ant's game? I know what I loved about the whole thing. It was just his swagger. The South was alive. Okay.
100%.
And he kept giving credit to Victor.
He turned his accent up a notch, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
What he
was
doing was
talking like
switching.
he'd gone home for Thanksgiving.
He wasn't code switching. He was
comfortable. I start talking all fast. Yeah, no, it was very funny.
No, look, you're right. And yes, he had a lot of swag to him. And I love that he was crediting basically every single opportunity he had a chance to. He was like, it's because Wemby started trying.
Right. Yep.
So we all started trying. And it was cool for him to be the leader of that future Team USA that you're talking about, Zena, because it's clear he's the next face of this thing. And so, him taking the Storms there is great. I also thought it was cool because post-game, he kind of called out Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. He said, hey, I'm going to be real with you guys. Everybody was trying out there except Jokic and Luka.
Right.
And those are the 2 guys who got benched in the final.
They sat a full game, but the thing is, they were disinterested from the start. And look, KD talked about this. Kevin Durant talked about this a couple days ago. And he's dead right. He is dead right about it. Neither one of those guys really wanted to participate. Luka's got an injury, and maybe that's part of it. But his track record suggests that that's a small part of it. And Jokic, beyond just looking like he was wearing a jersey that was a size too small, he just didn't want to be out there. He did make that one athletic play on the sideline where I'm just, you remember this guy is actually kind of a freak athlete because he's 7'2". But, they were non-factors. And frankly, it's a little bit embarrassing. There's not that many spots for the world team, and there's a lot of international players, and they could have maybe just bowed out. Now, granted, the NBA is not going to let them bow out. You need your stars.
No SGA or Giannis either, right?
Yeah, so you need those guys to play, and it is unfortunate, and I hope that they get hammered for this because they were the exception to everyone else that was out there. I mean, that last game aside, when the game, they knew they didn't have it. That game they were 3 for 20 at one point. The Stripes team, the old guys, they ran out of legs. We're going to throw that one out the window, but there was just no excuse. I mean, come on. It's 1 5-minute stretch of basketball in front of, what wound up being a pretty good crowd that was into the game. And especially when Kawhi Leonard was cooking. I mean, this was a Clippers crowd. So it's disappointing because I love those guys. I love to watch them play. It would have been cool if they were participating like everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do we all agree that this is the format we want to see moving forward?
I think a variation.
Agreed. I think there's got to be something adjusted for the fact that one team could end up playing 3 games in a row and end up gassed. At this point, I don't know how much you need the stats to match up in terms of we need a full game to be played, 48 minutes, and that's why...
Give me 10.
Exactly. I was thinking, can we shorten the quarters? Can there be an intermission of some sort to ensure that no one's playing for that long?
It felt like they had a halftime show after every game, though.
And honestly, that was, I do want to swing this back to last year because last year was a pretty competitive game until the television broadcast derailed everything.
Oh, yeah.
And this year, it was a much different experience. I mean, I was in the arena instead of at home like last year, but this flowed much better. And I actually was looking, when it was time to take that break before the last game, I actually felt as if the show, the entire event was ready for it because of how intense that third game had been. I thought it was a good time for a cooling off. And then they probably just need more time. But I do think that the tournament format kind of works. I'm not sure if it should be world versus U.S. every year. I think a theme is good. I really like the generational divide.
Yeah,
quite a
I like
bit.
that a lot too.
It was fun.
And
you could see the young guys beating up on their uncles and enjoying it. It was fun. It was fun.
And then the pride in the old heads when it came to beating the world team. And look, and when Kawhi was cooking, all those guys got out of his way. They're just like, take it, go. And I just think that there's a certain amount of, you get to see the difference in style from guys that have been in the league a decade plus and guys who've been in the league a couple years. So I think maybe even I wouldn't be against adding like the Rising Stars to this. Like maybe the team that wins the Rising Stars tournament gets to come in.
That's kind of what happened last year, right?
Yeah.
That team, whoever won the Rising Stars tournament, had the opportunity to go up. They got
But add them
beat.
to this format, right?
Right.
Like add them to this format. And then, I mean, again, and we have talked about the All-Star game forever. And at the end of the day, if they add some money to the pot for this game, you will get even more competition than we saw. But I don't think we need any more.
Yeah.
The All-Star game didn't need to be fixed.
I think it was a success.
Good. Yeah. This was great. I had a great time.
It was competitive. It was fun. The vibe was pick up with your friends. Let's go beat the guys in front of us. And that was good. You saw guys trying hard. You saw guys gassed, which is something to be said.
We saw multiple free throws. We saw
free throws. We saw challenges.
There were 3 bodies on the floor on one play.
Yeah. We saw people diving for balls.
Defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Durant was trying to lock up Devin Booker. Yeah.
We saw back picks happen.
They played basketball today. Hey, you know what?
It was fun.
Shout out to these guys. They played basketball at the All-Star game. And
we got to give a lot of love for that. We got to give love for that. But wait before we give too much. Saturday did happen. And I was working a little bit on Saturday, so I got to the arena late just for the dunk contest.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see everything that happened before, but I saw tons of the highlights of the Dame Lillard return game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a game. It was a competition, the 3-point competition. And it felt like that was the highlight of Saturday night. Now, Dave, you were there in person. S, you were there to watch it from your TV screen.
Yes.
So I want to hear what both perspectives were like. S, I'll start with you. Like, what was it like in terms of how they set it up, it felt like it was a big event for the 3-point competition.
Well, it was kind of weird to me that they started with the 3-point contest because I feel like that is now the main event, right?
It's the home run
That's
derby.
what I thought. I was like thinking I was going to be able to catch it, and I was sad that it was first.
I agree. I totally agree. So for me, it was kind of off-putting to be like, oh, it's 5:00 and I got to watch the 3-point shootout. This is sort of weird. But at the same time, Damian Lillard and, by the way, Devin Booker and Con Knipple and those guys, they all delivered in such a major way. The thrill of watching D-Book potentially being able to beat Dame and then miss 3 of his final shots in a row. That was incredible theater.
Who choked more, Ilya Malinin and ice skating or Devin
the
Booker?
quad god? It's got to be the quad god.
It's got to be the quad god.
Devin Booker got beaten by Damian Lillard. There's no shame in that at all.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Damian Lillard on one Achilles, though.
That's well, come on, it's repaired. I was sitting with our colleague and Zena's co-host from No Off Season, Sabrina Merchant. She was sitting next to me during that, and I mean, I am just outright openly rooting for Damian Lillard to win the 3-point contest, and he was on fire. It was amazing. Con Knipple, the lights were too bright once he got to the finals. I mean, imagine you're a rookie and you find out a couple days before the 3-point contest that Damian Lillard is basically being like legendary player put into the 3-point contest. You make it out. I mean, Con goes first. He has that great run. And then you've got to go up against Damian Lillard in the final. I don't know, man. There was a lot of pressure, but it was fun. And I'm with you guys. It should have been last. Again, the 3-point contest is the home run derby for the NBA. The dunk contest, it just doesn't have the juice. And again, it's for all the reasons that we know. There are professional dunkers who are 5'5" on the internet doing stuff you could never see a 7-foot guy do. So it's just dunking is a little bit done. But the 3-point contest, I like the logo shot that you added the last couple years. Something that makes it more like it looks more like the game that you see now, right? Like the logo 3 is a part of the game. So I think that's great. But overall, look, the vibe on Saturday was much less fun than this game. 3-point contest was great. And then it was just crickets for a lot of it. And Ludacris did a concert. It was loud. People had fun, but other than that, it was 3-point contest.
It wasn't loud on TV. I could barely hear him on the mic. It was.
I'll
didn't know
put
that
out there.
Did you like the little videos that they did before the dunkers came out?
No. I did not.
All right. I'm trying.
You know what?
I was trying to find something.
I'll say this. I love the creativeness. Like, let's try stuff. As a person who likes trying, I like it. It's all cool. But I thought it kind of delayed some of the action, and you want to see these guys keep going. Also, you don't need a dunk clock, in my opinion.
Yeah,
let the guy let him finish what he's trying to do.
But they have it. Listen, it's a TV show. I understand that you've got to have things on a schedule, but it does seem like it added a little bit of unnecessary pressure for no good reason.
The Carter Bryant final dunk, I think, got derailed because of time, and it could have been really cool.
Sure, I'm of the opinion though that these guys should just get one attempt. I think if you miss, we move on. Like, it just takes too long.
I don't hate
maybe
that,
it's one attempt at a time, and maybe it's just you get 3 turns or something. Like,
can I throw out a different? And this is maybe derailing us a little bit, but we're
derailed. We're talking about the dunk contest. It's been derailed.
We just saw the unrivaled one-on-one competition. It was incredible, right?
And it was head to head.
It was good.
How much money do you think these guys would need to be able to do something like that? Like, what's the number?
Let's put it in perspective. Chelsea Gray made $196,000 as her salary in the WNBA.
She just won 200K.
The Sprite one-on-one tournament in Unrivaled. Shout out to Sprite for that. 200K. So that obviously incentivizes you in a different level than what you typically see. You're not going to get someone to, do a ton for 100K, which is about what you're supposed to win. You get first place, for the dunk contest. My thing is, I don't know what the number is, the dollar amount is, but I will give credit to Keyshawn Johnson because that guy understood it. Even when he was being interviewed, he said, we have to put on a show for the fans. He got it. And he came out with E40, this kid from the Bay. And mind you, I covered a game this summer during the California Classic where all I was saying throughout the broadcast was like, I like this kid.
Yeah.
I like the way he plays. I like the way he moves. I like that he is great. He's got great vibes and he seems grateful. And that's what we're missing also from the all-star environment is gratitude for this opportunity. Yeah. Right? Like, not too cool for the moment. This is so special that you get to be in this position to be an all-star or to compete for these like really big moments, not necessarily big titles, but just big moments. Yeah. And I think Keyshawn Johnson was like the epitome of, I am having a great time. I cannot believe I'm here. This is awesome. Yay.
Respects the fans.
Respects the fans. Yes.
There were people that paid money. I mean, not a lot of people that paid money because the corporate sponsorships, the NBA that's how it operates. There's a lot of tickets that are handed out for free, especially stuff like this. But the people that are here, they put on a show for them. I mean, again, Keyshawn Johnson, he won over the crowd too because frankly, nobody knew who he was.
Yeah. But now everybody does.
And now they do.
That's right. But no one knew who he was, and he made a name for himself, not just because he can dunk. He did it because he, guy seems like he's got good vibes.
What I was talking about was a one-on-one tournament.
Gotta have it.
If you could, like $10 million? Could you do, is that enough?
I feel like NBA $1 million one-on-one
tournament. An NBA one-on-one tournament would garner so much sponsorship money. State Farm would give them $20 million for this thing. It's the thing that we all would love to see.
He's in. He's called out some folks even. So I think there's opportunity there. That is something that is on a lot of people's minds is the one-on-one. Now, the funny thing is that this was a question throughout the weekend about what can be done to fix the All-Star tournament. There's also the question of what can be done now that All-Star is done to fix tanking. These were the types of questions that were directed at Adam Silver over the course of the weekend. And Dave S., y'all gonna have to break it down for me because I, again, just got clips of this. What was Adam Silver's response to basically talking about his league being under fire for potential tanking?
So I was in the room for the press conference, and I actually felt like he was mad about the way that the tanking has gotten. I mean, it's blatant, and we've talked about this, and till we can beat this point to death, but it has gotten bad, and it does seem like we're at this point where if the NBA doesn't do something, there's going to be a serious lack of interest from fans because every single night, we sometimes have 14 games in a night and 7 of them don't really matter. That's a problem for your inventory if you're the NBA. All of a sudden, your product's worth less. And so he did seem pretty upset. It seems like in March, they're going to start approaching draft reform and what to do about tanking, and no one has a perfect solution there. Problem that we've got is that analytics have just pointed out in an undeniable way that you cannot ignore that the most successful way to get a good team and to get good players on your team is through tanking and the draft process. So until that changes, until you have a system that is somehow more equitable in the way it distributes players, you just don't have a solution for this. And so I thought Adam Silver's point was, yeah, we're upset. We're going to take a look at it. They haven't addressed this stuff in a while, but they've, since they instituted the lottery, I think they've made like 5 or 6 changes to the structure of the lottery, including flatten the odds. So it isn't like it isn't something they've been trying, but the problem is teams are now they're smart enough to be dedicated to this thing. And it creates a situation we're in.
I think from Adam Silver's comments, I'm curious to see, because it seems like they are assessing all options when it comes to how to fix this competitively. And I think it's natural because your regular season is under attack, right? The integrity of the regular season is under attack at this point. You have to act in a strong way, but you also have to be careful not to take away from bad teams' abilities to stop being bad.
Right.
And I think there is a very, very important
ethical tanking.
Ethical tanking matters. And also, I think the duration of your tank is important. You think of the Detroit Pistons, right? The reason they are back and they are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference is because Cade Cunningham, the number 1 overall pick, is who he is. But they had multiple kicks at the can where they had the worst record in the league, but they fell to 5th and drafted, a Sar Thompson, which is great, by the way, but like not a cornerstone franchise changing type of player like Cade. You have to give teams a single opportunity to make the most out of their 1 tank or 2 tanks and get out of there.
Right.
Otherwise, I think it prolongs the tanking position for a lot of these teams, right? You see the Wizards doing the same thing. Anyways,
I don't know why this is so funny to me, the way that you just laid that out, but yes, like tank and get out of there. So don't stick too long into the tank because
it's not a permanent residence.
Exactly. And it does ruin the product and people start to notice, this looks like it's on purpose. We don't like this.
And then the other side of this coin though is the way that if you're in the middle, and Adam Silver mentioned this, being in the middle is death in the NBA, like being stuck in mediocrity, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I can at least wrap my head around that concept, right? I think that there's value to being a fine basketball team that's fun to watch, that puts on a good, you're competitive, you make the playoffs, you make the play-in every year. I think that that's fine, and I think that for some teams that's fine. But in today's day and age, part of the way you keep your job is by having a strategy that gets you to championship level and that sort of contention. So if you're a GM, like if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you didn't have a team that was going to make the finals as it was constructed. This teardown is the smart move. Like, it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't mean we have to like it, and I don't think the league likes it. So, I think at this point, when a third of the teams are actively trying to lose games to the point where the Utah Jazz aren't even playing their guy, they're playing them up to the fourth quarter. That is just a little too in your face, it felt like, for the NBA. I'm glad that they're stepping up because, frankly, we watch games every night. I would love it if some of these games mattered.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're now closed on All-Star Weekend. Second half of the season is coming up. Anything else from this weekend that gave you an indication about what's up ahead? Any parties,
Dave,
any hangout? Like, what were you seeing on the sites that you were just like, ooh, this could be something? We've seen, some good juju come out of this event, or we saw some people like hanging out a little bit. Was Giannis hanging out with a particular team a little bit more than others? Like, what did you see on the ground there?
I didn't see any of that, but I did see, look, Kawhi Leonard to me is the biggest story coming out of the All-Star weekend because he's playing like one of the best players in the world again, and he's been doing it all year. This is as healthy as we've seen him in a couple of years now. And the Clippers are a team that aren't going anywhere. And I'm just confused by what they did at the deadline. I understand, James Harden wants to get out, and it makes it much easier to make the decision on Zubac. But it stands out to me that this guy is hooping like this, and they just decided in a year where they don't even have their draft pick to just say, all right, no, we're just not going to compete. I just don't know. So I'm watching Kawhi. I want to see what happens with the Clippers and aspiration. Adam Silver also said the other day that he is limited, by the CBA and the bylaws in the punishment that he can deal out. So when we get the results of the investigation or whatever, there is a limit to the suspension or fines or even up to maybe, Kawhi Leonard's contract being voided. So I'm curious to see what happens here over the course of the next few months. We're all going to be watching Pablo Torre Finds Out, I think, for the next few weeks.
Okay, I'll give you a serious one and I'll give you an unserious one. The serious one is that I think the whole USA versus world thing will just continuously be amped up until the 2028 Olympics, which are also happening
right behind me.
Right behind you.
Wow.
So I think that will have there's a narrative that's already building up.
Oh, that's
it's setting
cool.
the scene.
Yes.
I think it's very, very cool to see how much guys are going at Wemby and how much Wemby cares about all this. And it's going to add a cool narrative. The
French national team winning a gold medal here is going to hurt.
Would be incredible.
It's going to hurt.
And Zena would love that. No.
I would be against it.
The unserious one is shout out to the NBC broadcast and to the trio of Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Carmelo Anthony, because I think those three have developed this awesome connection that reminds me of like early days inside the NBA with Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny. And it has that camaraderie. It has that vibe to it, but there's this added layer of them actually all being friends that I really appreciate. So yeah, that's the unserious one.
I love it. Good roots were put down in this All-Star weekend for the future. That is not a play on the aspiration case. That was just what I said. But Dave, we appreciate you being on the ground, giving us the inside scoop from that. As Baraheni, as always, appreciate you guys. I'm Zena Keita. That's going to do it for us at the NBA Daily. Also, shout out to whoever put us on at the Iverson Mansion house party. We were apparently on TVs everywhere. Yeah, people are doing their job and following us and listening to us because we got you covered when it comes to NBA coverage. So make sure you tune in tomorrow because we'll have more shows as we head into the second half of the season. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day.